Hi, welcome to Fashionisers. Today's makeup tutorial is on the Chanel Fall 2017 runway look. I love this because it has an eye from my favorite era, the 60s, and Chanel is always good about balancing that classic look, which they're known so well for, and giving it a modern touch. I'm starting with my favorite primer by Tom Ford. It's the Illuminating Primer. I'm using the neutral color. It's so silky and just gives you a beautiful, moisturized looking glow. And a little goes a long way with this. So you can kind of see the glow. Now, my favorite foundation, Becca Ultimate Coverage Complexion. It maintains a natural look while having amazing coverage. Beauty blender. Now I'm going to cover up just a few flaws with the NYX HD Concealer. Very spreadable, blendable formula here. Now just a little bit of contouring. There's not a lot with this look. And I'm using the NYX Wonder Stick. The color I'm using on myself is the medium tan, number 2. When contouring your cheekbone, you always start at the top of your ear and go straight down and follow the line. A little cheekbone highlighter on the other end of the Wonder Stick. Just a little down the center of the nose, a little on the Cupid's arrow. Now we're going to set this with Charlotte Tilbury's Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder. This is my go-to powder. I use it day to day. Gets the job done without looking cakey. It has a very natural finish to it. Using my Tom Ford powder brush number 5. And I like to use just a finer tipped brush. This one is a Versace brush that I have had for about 10 years and it still looks brand new. It's my favorite. Just to go under the eye a little. I'm using Becca's Blushed with Light palette, and I'm gonna start with Songbird and just slightly going over the bottom of my cheekbone. It's a very pigmented blush, so if you get too much, it's fine. You can blend it in. And then I go back over it with my powder brush just a little to really help get that blend. And I'm taking just a really soft blush brush. It gives you more control over where the blush goes. And I'm dabbing it in the Wisteria color on the same Becca Blush with Light palette. And again, just really lightly, not too much, over your cheek. See, I have just a hint of it on there. Starting with the eyes, we're going to use a NYX eye pencil. It's number 604 Milk. It's just to really give you that white base that you're gonna need, and we'll set it with a white shadow on top. You don't need a lot, just enough to get on there and kind of blend it in. Now that I have the base, which I'm using more as a primer for this shadow, I'm just gonna set it with a off-white powder. I'm using the color 13 in the Urban Decay Naked Smoky palette, and the number 13 eyeshadow brush by Tom Ford. And just kind of go all over the eyelid and get a really good coverage. Now I have a white base on my whole eyelids. I'm gonna start with the lighter gray color you see on the lower lid, just under the black crease line. I'm using Craving by NYX. It's a really beautiful light gray matte shadow. I'm just going to use a basic shadow brush, dab and tap. And of course, where you put the crease is gonna depend on the shape of your eye. So put the gray shadow up until where you think you're gonna have the crease, and then you can always go back afterwards and add more gray underneath. And I'm getting my number 13 again. Just gonna blend those two together a little. Here comes the tricky part. You're going to take a eyeliner brush and just very lightly dab it in black shadow. I'm using Black Market from, again, the Urban Decay Smoky palette. You have to figure out where you're gonna start the line on your eyelid. Just barely above your natural crease is where I would suggest. And then do just a little wing at the end, nothing too dramatic. Because remember, we're gonna go over it with a pencil afterwards. I like to just go over the bridge of my nose so I can find that starting point, and then boom. And it's always better to make sure that you have your line straight with a shadow before you put the liner on, because obviously it's a lot harder to get the liner off and a lot easier to get rid of the shadow. Now I'm taking a Revlon Color Stay pencil liner and just gonna, again, go over that line. It may not be perfect, but you can always fix it. In this particular look, it's not very pigmented. The line is not like a jet black, it's faded. It's very little eyeliner over this. I'm gonna take the little spongy applicator on the end and just kind of, not really blend it very much, but just kind of go over it to smooth it out. Just to kind of blur the line a little. I wouldn't call it a blend. Now that we have our crease line done, we're gonna start with our very small eyelash line. It has a very tiny little wing on the end that you can barely see. But just like before, we're gonna start with a base of a little black eyeshadow. We're gonna go back over that with our Revlon Color Stay eyeliner. Now I'm moving along to my bottom lashes. This look only has bottom lashes, and I'm using the 104. Okay, I'm gonna put glue on the bottom lash and let it dry almost completely. Stick in the middle and then the corners. Now I'm taking my Dior Show mascara and I'm gonna put just a light coat on the bottom lashes and then a couple of heavier coats on the top. This will help blend your bottom lashes together. Now to complete the look, we're going to do our eyebrows. There's not a lot of penciling in on this look that they did with Gigi. So I'm just going to brush them always in the direction that they grow in. I'm using a Tom Ford brow sculpting pencil. I'm using number 4 Espresso. Just barely fill in the little gap that I have there. And my favorite, Mary Kay Clear Brow Gel to seal it in. Now I'm finishing the look with a lip color from NYX. This is number 628 in Tea Rose. It's a kind of a sheer neutral mauve-y color. Just a little, and then blend it in. I'm gonna add just a little bit of highlighting on my cheekbones using Charlotte Tilbury's Film Star Bronze and Glow. And the highlighter brush, just a little on the top of the cheekbone. And down the bridge of the nose. And that completes the Chanel Fall 2017 runway look.